Hi everyone, my name is Monique,
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
and today we're going to be doing a two-player playthrough of a game that is currently on GameFound called Gods and Mortals.
Yes, this game is designed by Borg Barthet as well as Artyom Nichipurov and published by Wolff Designa, who are helping sponsor this playthrough. Now, in this game, we're going to be taking on the roles of ancient Greek gods who are trying to manipulate the different citizens of the land so that we can score the most amount of divinity.
That's right, this is a stock market style game for 2 to 4 players that plays in about 60 minutes, in which players will need to buy low and sell high by playing action cards through their player boards and sort of strengthening the various mortals across the land and currying favor with them. And so, as per usual, we're going to start with a teach of the game and we'll go straight into a 2-player playthrough. If you'd like to jump around, we'll include timestamps in the description below.
Now, we do have to mention this is a prototype copy of the game, so things are subject to change in the future. If you're interested in the campaign, there's going to be a link in the description, which you can check out. And lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So, if you please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for a 2-player game of Gods and Mortals. Welcome to ancient Greece.
Thank you.
And so, like we're mentioning, in this game, players play as various gods in ancient Greece. And so today, I'm going to be playing as Aphrodite.
Sure, I'll be Ares today.
And over the course of the game, we are trying to score the most divinity by gaining favor amongst the 4 different factions of mortals, as well as abandoning them, which is basically selling their strength.
Yeah, so this is kind of the stock market aspect of the game. When there are weak mortals, we're going to try to buy and exploit them, get them stronger, and as soon as they are as strong as possible, we'll try to abandon them so we can get the most amount of divinity.
Right. And so in this game, there are 4 different factions of mortals. We have the blue Achaeans, the red Minoans, green Amazonians, as well as the yellow Trojans. And they are all represented across their starting positions in the various cities. And so in addition to the mortals themselves, each faction also has their own starting temple. And so the way that the stock market aspect works in the game is the value of each faction is equal to the number of cities they are represented in. And that is regardless of whether it's the mortals themselves or just a single temple.
Yeah, so each faction of the game actually starts with a relative value or strength of 3 because they're each represented in 3 different cities. So if you notice, the yellow Trojans are 1, 2, 3, the red Minoans 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth.
And each round, players will first be able to spend their divinity in order to grant favors with up to 2 factions by paying divinity equal to their current strength, followed by an actions phase where players will be taking turns taking actions that allow us to do things such as recruiting additional followers or moving followers around the land and building additional temples. And this is how we increase or decrease certain faction strengths. And at the end of maximum 5 rounds, all players will abandon all of the favors of all 4 factions, and at that point, whoever has the most divinity will win the game. Now, during setup, each player will be given a secret favor card, which basically gives you 1 permanent favor in 2 different factions. These are kept secret until the very end of the game, in which we'll reveal them.
Yeah, so this basically gives you somewhat of a direction to go for when you start the game.
Right. We'll also be given a starting hand of 5 action cards. And these are the cards that we're going to be playing to our player dashboards in order to manipulate the various mortals on the board. Now, each round is split into 2 phases. First, we have the divinity phase, where we are going to basically be buying and selling. We're going to be abandoning and favoring the various factions. And this phase is performed entirely in divinity order, which means whoever has the most amount of divinity will always go first in this phase. Followed by the actions phase, which is taken in turn order, starting with the player who has the torch. Now, during the divinity phase, players start by deciding whether or not they would like to abandon a faction. This is skipped in the first round, so we're just going to skip this right now and we'll go back to it later.
Sure.
Now, the real heart and soul of this phase is the favoring step, where in divinity order, players may grant a maximum of 2 favors, 1 big and 1 small, or 2 small. And basically, a favor is just going up 1 or 2 steps in a specific faction.
Yes, and for each step that you advance on these particular tracks, you have to pay divinity, the points in the game, equal to the relative strength of that particular faction.
So as an example, if I wanted to grant 1 small favor to the Trojans and a big favor to the Minoans, then I would advance 1 step in yellow and 2 steps in red, paying a total of 9 divinity, because at the start of the game, each faction starts with a strength of 3, so it would be 6 for the Minoans and 3 for the Trojans, which is why each player starts with 14 divinity, because we need some divinity to spend, right? And so again, keep in mind that you are spending your points. So this would bring me all the way down to 5 divinity. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind during this phase is that you can only grant favors to maximum 2 factions. So you can basically only be invested in 2 of these factions at any given time. In addition, when granting these favors, they both have to come from the different factions. So I could not do a small and a big in the same color. They would have to be from 2 different factions. And no 2 player markers can share the same level in a given faction, which means if I were to have gone first and I made this decision, then Naveen could not do a small favor in yellow because he could not share the same position as me, but he could do a big favor because you can hop over other players' markers and go all the way there. And you also can't go past 5. So 5 is the maximum level on these tracks. If ever you do reach level 5, then at the start of the next round, you are going to be required to abandon that faction, which is essentially selling for their current strength multiplied by whatever level you've reached. So let's just say Naveen did 2 on green and 1 on blue and spent the same amount. He would go on top of my marker, and if you're on top, then you're technically in the lead in terms of turn order. But that's essentially how the divinity phase works. Keep in mind that starting in the second round, this phase will always start by deciding in divinity order if you would like to abandon a faction. And when doing so, you can only choose 1. And you're basically selling all of your stock in that faction for that faction's current strength.
And just one thing to note, you cannot abandon and then grant the same faction favor in the exact same round.
Right. Once that phase is done, then we move to the actions phase, where starting with the player holding the torch, players will take turns taking actions by playing an action card from our hand to one of the 4 slots on our player dashboard, taking one of the 2 actions that are there. And once you finish taking your action, you always end your turn by drawing a card from your hand, because you'll always have a hand of 5 cards. And once all 4 slots are filled for all players, then that ends the round. So let's just quickly go over the actions that you're going to be seeing in the game. But first, let's take a look at these action cards. Action cards look like this. Each card has a color in the background that represents one of the 4 factions in the game, as well as a location. And when playing an action card, you can basically choose to take the action in either the specific location on the card, choosing one of the factions there as the primary faction you're going to be manipulating. And they'll be known as the followers, which is going to be very important for when we actually start explaining the actions. Or you can choose to manipulate the specific colored faction, but in any single land that they're in. So in this example, I can either choose to manipulate the Minoans or the Achaeans, so the red or the blue, in Sparta, because this is a Sparta card. Or I can choose the yellow faction, but in one of these 3 lands, either Colchis, Troy, or Lycia.
Yeah, so this is very important because as you'll see over the course of the game, we're going to be moving different followers around, removing followers off the board. And so it's very important to be able to kind of recognize what are your options when you're making decisions with the cards that you have in your hand.
As for the actions, each god dashboard is sort of asymmetric. The top 4 actions are going to be the same. All gods have the ability to recruit, travel, duel, worship, and build. So actually it's 5 actions that we all have in common. But these bottom 3 are going to be unique depending on the god you're playing as well as a unique passive ability, which is at the top left-hand corner here. So then, starting with the common actions, first we have recruit. Recruit allows us to exhaust a temple, which is one of these temples here. And whenever you exhaust anything, whether it's a temple or a mortal, you're going to place the piece on its side. So they all start the round standing up. And this is really important because once you exhaust a piece, you cannot re-exhaust it for the rest of the round, which sort of makes it so that each piece can only be manipulated probably once during the round.
Yeah, so it makes it hard for people to undo what you just did.
Now for the recruit action, this allows us to exhaust a temple and then create 3 followers, gaining you 1 divinity. So you basically gain a point for taking this action. Now, whenever you're taking actions, let's just say I played this Sparta card from my earlier example, you must choose 1 faction in the land that you're activating to be your followers. So again, I can either choose the blue or the red faction in Sparta, or I can activate one of the yellow factions in any of these 3 lands as my followers. Now, since I exhausted this temple, I'm clearly choosing the yellow faction in Troy. So then I would exhaust the yellow temple, creating 3 yellow followers because they have to be basically the same color faction as the temple I exhausted. And whenever you create followers, you take them from the supply, and they come onto the board unexhausted. So they come upright. And you must be able to create all three. So if there are fewer than 3 in the supply, you cannot take this action. And that's very important. So that's basically how you get more followers on the board, which is going to be very important for when we go to build. Next, we have the travel action. And this is going to be our main way of moving followers around to different locations. This allows us to exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. And so each land is connected to 3 other lands via these dashed lines. If I were to have instead done the travel action with that card, so let's just say I didn't do that, then I can exhaust and move up to 3 of them. So if I only wanted to do 2, I could do that, moving them to a connected land, the same land. And they are exhausted now, so I could not manipulate them using a different action in the future. Now again, one of the primary things we're paying attention to is the strength of each faction, because that is the value of their stock. So if I instead moved these followers to Thebes and exhausted them, yellow would now be in 4 different lands, which means yellow would have a value of 4. I just increased my stock value for yellow. But it's also now more expensive for granting favors. So these are the things you're going to want to consider when taking these actions. Next, we have the dual action, which allows us to exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival. So similar to the fact that we have to choose a follower when taking actions, you must also choose a rival. And basically, a rival is just one other faction that is in the same location. So if I had played this card here and chosen Lycia, and I chose the yellow, obviously, faction as my followers, then red would be my rivals because they are the only other faction that's in the same location. And taking this action would allow me to exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival.
Yes, and the significance of having to exhaust these mortals before actually removing them from the board is that if they were already exhausted, then you would not be able to take this action. You need somebody that's readied and is actually able to be exhausted and then finally removed.
Exactly. And that's essentially how the dual action works. This is how you remove, basically, pieces from the board. Now, before we talk about the worship action, let's skip that and go directly to build. So one of the things that we're going to be trying to do in the game is we're going to be trying to build additional temples. Each faction can only have maximum 4 temples, and each location can only have 1 temple maximum in them. Temples can also never be destroyed. So obviously they are very valuable because unlike the mortal pieces, these will always exist on the board. And so if I were to build a second red temple as an example, now the red faction will always have a minimum value of 2.
Yeah, because these mortals, they could be moving, but once the temples are established, that is where it sits.
Yes.
So these mortals can start moving out, and now there's presence in 4 different locations.
Right. However, in order to build a temple, we must exhaust 3 followers. So it's kind of tough because you have to have 3 followers in the same location that does not already contain a temple, and they have to be unexhausted. So it's not something that you'll truly be doing in the first round.
No.
This is like a second round onward thing. But when doing so, the 3 followers just become exhausted. You don't remove them from the board. And you'll also gain divinity. You'll gain 3 divinity for taking the action. However, all other players whose markers are above you in that corresponding faction track will also gain 3 divinity. So you have to be very cautious about the timing in which you take this action, but it's actually a really important action to take. Now, the last common action we have is the worship action, and this allows us to exhaust the temple and collect these sacrifice tokens based on where you are in that temple's favor track. Sacrifice tokens are going to be necessary in order to take our unique actions, because as you can see here, they'll require typically 1 or 2 sacrifice tokens to spend in order to take them. Now, we've already mentioned that this is a prototype, and so things have changed in terms of the values for the final copy of the game, namely the number of sacrifice tokens you gain. So if you are at space 0, meaning you have no favor in that faction, then you gain 2 sacrifice tokens. All other spots are 3 sacrifice tokens, and if you're at level 5 here, you gain 4. But that's pretty much it. Those are the main types of actions in the game because these are the ones that are all common to all gods, no matter who you're playing as. In terms of our unique actions, we'll explain them right before we start because they are unique to the gods that we're playing as, including our passive abilities. But they are more or less different combinations of these main common action types. Now, once the round ends, because all players have taken 4 actions on their player mats, then we prepare for the next round by refreshing all tokens. So all of these tokens will stand up again including temples. We'll discard cards from our player boards, we'll advance the round marker, and we'll also pass the torch. So this is always going to get passed clockwise. And then we begin again in the divinity phase, again starting with abandoning. And at the end of the 5th round, the game ends, and we'll go into final scoring by calculating our final divinity. We'll reveal our secret favor cards by gaining a favor in each of those 2 factions, this time ignoring all of the restrictions because you can share the same level, you can have more than 5, etc. And then from left to right, we'll abandon all 4 factions. And at that point, whoever has the most divinity wins. Alternatively, there are 2 other ways in which the game can end. Either as soon as a 4th temple of any single faction has been built on the board, the game immediately ends. Or if all of the different locations has a temple built in it, then the game also immediately ends, and you would still do final scoring the same way. But otherwise, that's essentially it. Everything else we'll discuss as we play the game. But for now, we're going to get cleaned up and get started with our playthrough.
Okay, we are all set up. We are ready to go. We each drew 5 cards from the deck. We also have our secret hidden faction card, so we know we're going to have a little bit of favor in each one of these 2 that are represented here. We did already figure out Monique is going to be going first. So do you want to introduce Aphrodite?
Sure. Today, I'm going to be playing as Aphrodite, and my 3 unique actions are Siren Song, Abduct, and Charm. So for 2 sacrifice tokens, Siren Song lets me exhaust 1 follower, and then I can exhaust and move 1 to 2 rivals from a connected land to this land. So I'm bringing them in. It's a Siren Song, after all.
Yeah.
For 1 sacrifice token, Abduct lets me exhaust and move 1 follower and 1 rival to any land. So there's some freedom in that, but it's only 1 and 1. I have to take somebody with me.
Okay.
Charm, for 1 sacrifice token, lets me exhaust 1 follower. Then I exhaust 1 to 2 rivals and replace them with followers.
Okay.
So I'm basically exhausting 1 follower to remove 2 rivals, replacing them with 2 of the same color as a follower that I exhausted first,
Right.
if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yep.
As for my passive ability, it says each time after you use the worship power, which is the power that allows me to gain sacrifice tokens, another god of your choice, which is always going to be Naveen, must create 1 exhausted follower in a land with 1 or more rivals.
Gotcha.
So this lets me gain more presence of that specific faction that I exhausted the temple of on the board, but I don't get to choose where they go.
All right, very good. For me, I'm playing as Ares, and so for me, I have a couple different asymmetric things. I have Invade, which basically says I can exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land and as many rivals in that land to a different connected land. So you basically can kind of go in there and spread people out. We have Sack over here. This one says exhaust a temple. If there are no followers, create 3 rivals.
So you're exhausting a temple, but creating mortals of a different faction color.
Yeah, because they become the rivals.
Yes.
Then we have Massacre here. This one says exhaust 1 to 3 followers, exhaust and remove that many rivals.
Oh, okay.
So this is a good way for you to say, like, these 2 yellow are now good, or these 2 red are no good. I need to get them exhausted and get them out of there.
Right.
And my ongoing ability here says each time I use the worship power,
So similar to mine.
very similar, yeah, I may exhaust and remove 1 rival in any land.
So basically, anytime either of us takes the worship action, Naveen will be doing something,
Right.
possibly.
Right.
And otherwise, I think we are ready to begin. All of the factions have been properly set up. Again, this is a prototype, so the starting factions as well as the values of the sacrifice tokens on our faction columns have changed. We also start the game with 14 points, so let's go ahead and fix that. And my token goes on top since I have the start player marker.
Okay.
All right, so shall we start with round 1?
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into the divinity phase. Again, for the first round, you do not get to abandon anything because we do not have any favor.
There's no leg up, yeah.
Currently.
It doesn't make sense.
There's no leg up. And if you did not join us for the teach, all 4 factions start the game with a strength of 3 because they are all starting in 3 different lands. So there's no wrong answer here, right? Now again, during the favor step of the divinity phase, in divinity order, so this is going to be whoever has the most points goes first, each player can grant up to 2 favors, either 1 small and 1 big, or 2 small. So I'm going to grant a small favor amongst the Achaeans, so the blue, and a big favor amongst the Trojans, so the yellow. And again, for each step you go up, you have to pay divinity equal to their current strength.
Okay.
So that's 3 for blue. So 1, 2, 3, and then 6 for yellow, because it's 3 times 2 is 6. So I go down to 5. So
Okay.
5 divinity. And you typically want to do at least one small and one big per round if you can.
This is your chance.
Optionally, you can also just do one, just one.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 2. It's maximum 2. All right, Naveen, what would you like to do?
Okay, so let's go up on blue twice.
Blue twice?
Yes.
Okay.
And then green once.
Green ones. Okay. Because again, we cannot share the same
Right.
level, but he can hop over me, so that's fine. So you go down
Also
to 5,
yep.
and Naveen's
Or
token
5.
goes on top. That's it for the divinity phase. Now we move to the actions phase, starting with me. I must play a card from my hand to one of these 4 slots. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking the worship action. And to do so, I'm going to play this card. So again, this card says I can either activate the yellow faction as my followers, and in doing so, I can choose either one of these 3 lands, or I can activate whatever follower, or one faction, I guess, that's in Thrice, which would be the green factions. And we're just going to go with colors,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Green.
I think I'm going to activate the yellow faction.
Okay.
And in doing so, I must exhaust a temple, which means I'm required to do it here, basically. There's only 1 yellow temple on the board. So I'm exhausting that. Then I collect sacrifice tokens based on the amount of favor that I have on the track. Now, again, this is a prototype. These values have changed. So it's 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to gain 3 sacrifice tokens for doing so. So I have some spending to do.
You do.
Now, again, each time after you use the worship power, another god of your choice, Naveen, must create 1 exhausted follower in a land with 1 or more rivals. So he could not do it here,
No, yeah, because
basically.
there's no rivals here, but I
Yeah.
could do it here or here if I don't want to allow yellow to spread out for no reason.
Right.
Because I'm not invested in yellow, it's in my best interest to probably put this one. Let's put this one here.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's exhausted. All right. That is it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, and now it goes to you, Naveen.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to play this card, this green one here, and I'm going to cover up travel.
Okay.
So this one says exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land.
Okay.
So I'm going to do.
So who are the followers?
I'm going to do actually green.
Green.
So
okay.
green is going to be the followers, and I'm going to go from here. We're going to exhaust everybody, 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
and then we're just going to have them migrate into Thebes.
Into Thebes. Okay. Interesting. So you're setting this up. So as
so.
it stands right now, we cannot build a temple using these followers. They're all exhausted.
Yep.
But at the start of the next round, they will be unexhausted, and somebody could build a green temple there.
It's true.
So, okay, interesting.
All right, so to me, I'm going to draw.
All right, so now it goes back to me. And by the way, green is also now stronger because they're in 4 lands.
Yes.
So this is, I'm not invested in green at all. All right, I think I'm going to take one of my unique actions. I'm going to take the charm action here. And in order to do so, I'm going to play this yellow Colchis card.
Okay.
So I'm going to activate, the followers are going to be the yellow faction in Colchis. And I have to spend 1 sacrifice token to take this action. This says exhaust 1 follower. Then exhaust 1 to 2 rivals, exhausting them, and replace them with followers. So those get exhausted and replaced with followers. Now these 2 are back in the supply. So that's it. And now green is now back down to a strength of 3.
Okay, I will do a worship action. I will
Okay.
spend this blue Pylos card. And this one says exhaust a temple, collect sacrifice tokens based on my level of favor. So, which we know where I'm at is going to be 3.
So
I'm
it
gonna
has
put
to be blue.
blue on top. I'm doing the blue temple over here.
Okay.
That gets exhausted. And now I'm going to gain 1, 2, and 3 of those. Thank you.
Very nice. And
Very
don't
good.
forget that you also have your passive ability.
Yeah. Each time you use the worship power, which
Yeah.
I just did right now, you may exhaust and remove 1 rival in any land. Wow.
That's a huge,
It's a good one.
yeah, wow.
Okay, I'm going to take somebody out from here. So
Okay.
I'm going to exhaust and remove.
And remove.
There we go.
All right. Done?
Done. After I draw a card. There we go. Done.
All right, so now it goes back to me. And I'm going to take the travel action by playing this card here. I'm basically going to use these as my followers here in Troy, the yellow faction. It says I can exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. So I'm just going to move all 3 to a connected land.
Connected. Yeah.
Scary. Into Thebes.
Bunch of sleepies.
Yeah. Bunch of sleepies.
All right.
So now they are strength of 4 as well. Okay, that's it. Back to you.
Okay, I will play this red Colchis card over Invade, which is one of my unique abilities as Ares. This one is going to cost me 2 sacrifice tokens.
Oh, what are you going to do? There's so much text.
So it says,
It's a large paragraph.
exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land and as many rivals in that land to a different connected land.
Oh, okay. So who are your followers?
It's going to be this red here.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm playing it as Colchis, but
So either the red in one of these 3 lands, or where's Colchis? Or yellow.
yeah, that one. So I think I'm going to exhaust and move these 2.
Okay. So those are the followers?
Yeah, so these 2.
1 to 3 followers to a connected land.
Right. So I'm going to go here.
Okay.
Okay.
And as many rivals.
In that land to a different in that land that I go to. Okay, wait. That's not the way to do that. Let me stand these 2 back up.
Okay.
There is a way around this though. So instead I'm actually going to take the same action,
Okay.
but I'm going to do something different. I'm going to
Okay.
use this green Athens card.
Okay.
So we're still going to do this invade. So here I'll just put it here.
So who are the followers?
It's going to
first?
be these 2 followers right there.
So the green
Yeah.
are the followers. So
yeah,
exhaust and move up
1 to 3. I'm only going to do one of them.
one of them. So,
So it's gonna be
exhausting. Where do you want to move
They're
them?
going to move into here.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, as many rivals in that land to a different connected land.
Correct.
Where?
Well, I'm going to take all 3 of these rivals.
Okay.
And I'm going to force them to move here.
Oh,
There we go.
interesting.
Yeah. Get a little spread. And I believe these rivals become exhausted here in Athens.
Okay.
Not bad, though. All right, so that's going to be my turn. I draw a card.
Wow. So blue is strong again.
Blue is back at it. Yeah.
So you have one last action,
As you
which
do.
is either dueling,
Or
which
massive.
is removing, or massacre. So both of these are removal types. So that means blue can't get any stronger than this. And my options are I can either recruit, exhausting a temple to create 3 followers, gaining a divinity, which is going to be either creating more green or creating red.
And that's because these are the only temples that are still standing right now.
Right. Now the thing about red is red will have more people, but you won't be able to build a temple next round with red. You know what I mean? But maybe that's fine. So I am going to take the recruit action and I'm going to play my Mycenae card, but I'm going to just use it to exhaust the red temple.
Okay.
So create 3 followers. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
They all go in that location and I gain a divinity. So I go up to 6.
Okay.
That's it for me. That was my final action of
Final
the round.
action,
So that goes
okay.
to you, Naveen. What are you going to do? It's interesting because Naveen is going to take the last action and the first action
to go back to
in
back.
the next round. So he could set himself up
I'm gonna
to
try.
like build a temple, or if he
Yeah.
plays his cards right, he can really manipulate sort of what's happening.
You can't just build a temple. You have to have the right color / city
Yes.
to actually be able to do it in that
hopefully you
spot. So
managed
yeah.
your-
I think so. Okay, I will play this red card here
Okay.
for duel, and I'm just going to do duel. Exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival. So
Okay,
I'm going
so
to exhaust and remove these 2.
Okay, so the follower was the red.
Yes, the follower was the red, and the rival was the yellow.
the yellow.
And the reason for that is, again, I did red, meaning I can do here, here, or here. So that's why it's red is the followers, and then that's why they're being removed, and then they're removing the other one.
Okay, I hope that makes sense now
Yeah.
to this point. We can start
Yeah.
explaining that less, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward in that regard.
Exactly.
All right, that is it. Those are all 4 actions. That ends the round. So we have not ended yet because again, there are 2 immediate ending sort of things that could happen. But for now, let's go ahead and set up for the second round, shall we?
Yep.
So let's go ahead and discard our cards. We're going to unexhaust literally everyone. So
Pick them up. All right.
everybody, all
Everybody wakes
temples,
up.
all mortals
Yes.
is what they are. We are also going to pass the torch. So
Yes.
Naveen
I
gets
like
that
this
now
torch.
and advance the round marker. So now we are in round 2. We're going into the divinity phase again, but this time we are starting with abandoning.
We
And
can
this,
abandon.
This is done in divinity order. So this is going to be starting with me. I can choose to abandon 1 faction. Now, again, if I choose to abandon a faction, I cannot now grant favor to that same faction in the next step. And you can only be favoring 2 factions at any given time. So if I do not choose to abandon anybody, I could not grant favor to either of these 2 factions
Right.
in the next step either.
Totally.
Now, considering the fact that Naveen has more favor in blue than I do, maybe I'll just use it for a quick divinity buck, right? Because they have a strength of 4.
Yep.
then I would go up to 10. I would have 10 divinity to spend in that next step. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to abandon blue.
Okay.
Because yellow is also a strength of 4. And I do have more favor here, but yellow is in a better position to build a temple.
They are.
So I think maybe it's better for me to stay with yellow and abandon blue.
Okay.
So I'm going to abandon. And when you abandon, you must sell all favor. So I only have 1, which means I'm going to gain 4 divinity.
Yep.
So I go up to 10. And then now my marker gets turned to the abandoned side. All right, Naveen, what would you like?
Okay. Well, I think I will abandon blue.
Oh, you're going to abandon blue?
Yeah. See you
So
later,
you get
blue.
8.
I get 8,
because it's 4
yeah.
times 2.
Yeah.
So you go up to 13. Wow. All right. Now we do the favor step. So this is going to be starting with Naveen this time.
Yes.
Who would you like to grant favor to?
Now it cannot be blue because I abandoned them.
Yes, that is why these have these symbols on them to remind us they've been abandoned this round.
They have been. Okay, I'm gonna go with red.
Big or small?
Let's go big red.
Big red. So 1, 2. Red has a strength of 3.
3.
So that's 6 divinity. So you go down to 7.
Yep.
Okay. And then you're going to do a small one.
I probably should.
It has to be green.
Has to be green, yeah. So I will do 1 green.
1 small in green. So green has 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Yep.
So minus 4.
Full money again.
So you go down to 3.
3.
All right. Now it goes to me. You did this on purpose
Why is that?
because I wanted to do red.
Yeah. You set this thing up.
Yeah. And I can't do blue. You forced me. You forced me to do something awful. Because again, we cannot share the same spot. So no matter what I do, I'm going to be in Naveen's shadow
Right.
for a small favor. It has to be one of these two for a small favor. So I guess I'll just go green. So I'll do 1 small favor in green.
Okay.
So that's 4.
4.
Oh, can I afford this? I only have 10. 4. I can only do 2 small favors.
Okay.
Oh, Naveen, you did something mean. So 2 small favors.
Yep.
And the reason why is because they both have a strength of 4 and I only have 10.
So go down.
So I go down to 2. Oh, awful. Okay. Well, I figured Naveen is probably going to build a temple in green. So that is going to increase green's permanent
Permanent,
value
yeah.
in the long run. So riding on Naveen's coattails might be a better idea anyway. I don't know. We'll see. So let's go ahead and flip these over.
Okay.
So now it's going to be starting with Naveen. Let's go into the actions phase.
All right, let's build that temple.
Which temple?
So I'm going to play a red Thebes card.
Okay.
But we are going to actually do it in the city itself and not worry about the color. We're doing build.
So who are the followers, yellow or
These,
green?
green is going to be the followers. Exhaust 3 followers.
Okay.
If there is no temple, create a temple.
All
You
right.
and the gods above you in the favor track gain 3 divinity. So I am above Monique. So
Yes.
she does not gain the 3 divinity here.
1, 2, 3, but Naveen
I
does.
do, yeah.
The temple comes in unexhausted.
Yes.
So you can still use it for temple exhausting
stuff, yeah.
moves. But now no other temples can be built in Thebes with the gods that we have in play.
Right.
Because again, each land can only contain 1 temple. But there you go.
There you go.
I knew you were going to do that.
I had to.
That was definitely going to happen.
had to.
So similarly, I'm going to do the same before somebody ruins this, Naveen. So I'm going to build using my blue Kolkis card, and I'm just going to build yellow.
Makes sense.
So same thing, exhaust 3 followers, place a yellow temple,
You get your 3.
and I gain 3. 1, 2, 3, because Naveen is not above me on that track. That's it. Goes back to you, Naveen.
Okay. Okay, I am going to play this green Troy card to sack. Now, the sack is going to cost me my 1 last sacrifice token here.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to do this in Troy, where this is located. It says, exhaust a temple. If there are no followers, create 3 rivals.
Oh.
So I'm going to go ahead and do this.
You're gonna
I'm going to exhaust this temple. And
Okay.
I'm going to create 3 rivals.
Who?
Green rivals.
Green.
please.
So
Yes.
they must be of a single faction. So
3
creating
green.
3. Wow. Wow.
We're getting around the board a different way.
So now green has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strength. Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. I am going to travel using this blue Thebes card, but I'm going to choose the yellow faction as the followers, exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. So I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm going here to Athens, and now they're all exhausted. All right. Back to you, Naveen.
Okay, I think it's time to recruit. So I'm going to play this green card,
Okay.
and we are going to recruit up here in this space right there. So it's going to be exhaust a temple, create
Okay.
3 followers, gain 1 divinity. So that's 1 point for me.
1,
I'll put them
2,
up.
3.
Yeah, if you want to give me the
I
point.
wanted to recruit there.
You were going to recruit there.
Yeah. All right, so you're doing that.
I did it.
I know. I know.
I did it for
I'm
you.
aware that you did it. All right, back to me. All right. Well, we do need some more blue presents, I think. So I'm gonna recruit here, me. So I'm gonna place 3 blue followers in there.
Okay.
2, 3, and I also get a point. So I need the divinity. I need this. I need this money, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to you for your final action, Naveen.
So I have duel and massacre. Unfortunately, with massacre, I don't have any more tokens to actually do
Yeah,
it.
your
So I have to
sacrifice.
do duel.
Okay.
So let's just do dueling in Sparta. It's gonna
Okay.
be there, and it says exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival.
So 1 blue and 1 red.
Yeah, 1 blue and 1 red just basically come off.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. So then it goes back to me for the final action. So now I'm in that unique position. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to duel. I'm going to do the exact same move that you did. So let's exhaust and remove
Here,
one of each.
in
Yeah.
Sparta.
Yes. Because it decreases the strength of both blue and
Blue
red.
and red, yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. All right. So I'm going to draw a card. And that is it.
That's it,
That is the
yeah.
end of the second round. So things are starting to sort of prep move.
Take shape, yeah.
Take shape a little bit. You know, we are now past the 3 strength of each faction and sort of kind of showing our hand in certain ways. So let's go ahead and set up for round 3, shall we?
Okay.
So let's discard these. We're going to stand up all these people.
Peoples, yeah.
I get the torch this time.
You do.
And then we advance the round markers. So I think 2 factions have 2 temples
Yeah.
each.
Yellow and green.
And how many spaces do we have left? These 3. So if we build, oh wow.
There's this space also.
Oh, 4. Okay, so the faster we build, the faster the game ends as well. But all right, there we go. So we are going to go ahead and go into the divinity phase. It's going to be starting with Naveen. Naveen, would you like to abandon?
Yeah, I'm going to abandon green.
You abandoning green?
Yeah, green is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places.
5
I'm gonna
times
get
2 is 10.
$10.
Oh man, you're kind of playing the game.
17.
So you go to 17. Okay.
Can't reinvest. But they're too expensive to reinvest right now.
Yeah, that's true. Do I abandon green? What are my other options? Oh, yeah, it's green or yellow. I don't want to abandon yellow. I'll abandon green. So I get 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh,
Okay.
that's awful. So I go to 11. Okay. I'm just chasing Naveen.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
chasing
doing
Naveen's
fine.
coattails.
Yeah.
Who would you like to grant favor to?
Probably red, because red is only going to cost 2 right now.
Well, yeah, you
So,
have to. So red and somebody else,
Yeah,
right?
so I'm going to do red for the major, or like the big
The
one.
big. So 1, 2.
Yeah.
So 4. So you go down to 13.
Uh-huh.
And then a small favor.
Small favor, I might be back in blue. Let's go back in blue.
Back
I'll go
blue?
a single blue. Yeah.
Single blue. Okay. So
For 3.
that's for 3. So you go down to 10.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, I just can't do green. I'm in yellow and either. But wow, you are so. Wait, is this right? You were just sitting in here for a long time.
Yeah, and then you made Sparta cheaper for me to do it.
I did.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But you could make that
I
a
wasn't
double.
sure if you were gonna sell it. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, I mean, it's also cheaper for you. You can invest in red also.
I know. But also blue seems closer to building a temple. So because, blue's
can't, yeah.
right there.
I mean, yellow can't.
Yeah, let's just buy low,
Okay.
right? So I'll buy a 2 in red.
So that's going to cost 4.
So I'll go down 4. So I go down to 7.
Okay.
And then I'll go up 1 in yellow.
Yeah, sure. That costs
There's
4.
another 4. So I go down to 3.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That is it for the divinity phase. So now starting with me, let's go ahead and take actions. I'm definitely going to build. And it's going to be in Athens. So I'm building for the yellow faction.
Okay.
So I'm exhausting these 3 followers. And I'm going to build their 3rd temple. Boom.
One more temple ends the game.
Gaining me 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one more temple that ends the game.
Yeah.
So we gotta be cautious, basically. And if I could go up one more step, I will also be forced to abandon. So
Okay.
there's that. All right, that's it. Now it goes to you.
Okay, I think we're going to do some worshiping.
Okay.
We're just going to do red at the red temple. Exhaust a temple, collect sacrifice tokens based on my favor.
So you get 3
So it's going to be like this. I get 3 in
because you're up here.
that spot.
You also may take your ability.
Yes. Each time you use the worship power, you may exhaust and remove 1 rival in any land.
Yes, where? Would you like to do that? It says may. You don't have to.
I probably will.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just take out one of these people. Here. Here. Exhaust and remove. There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
perfect. That is me.
Okay. So then it's back to me, and I'm going to recruit in Troy. So again, exhausting a temple. And I'm going to create 3 followers there. So 1, 2, 3. The yellow followers in Troy. And for that, I gain 1 divinity. So I'm inching closer to you,
There you go.
Naveen.
You did good.
All right, back to you.
Okay, I will play this red card for travel. It's exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. We're going to do this red spot here.
Okay.
These 3 people are going to get exhausted and go to Sparta.
Nice.
There they
Thank you. Increasing our value.
Yeah, a little bit.
Our
Our
value. All right, next I am going to charm in Lycia.
Okay.
So exhaust, I have to pay 1 sacrifice token, exhaust 1 follower, and exhaust 1 to 2 rivals, and replace them with followers. So
Wow.
there's that. Okay,
Ruined the red thing.
I did. Back to you.
Okay.
I know I'm sort of invested, but if you cash out now, I don't know, it would be more detrimental to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I could still continue
Right.
to pay low. We'll see.
Okay, I'm going to play this blue card here onto my invade action. So this one requires me to spend 2 of these tokens. So there you go. So it's exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land and as many rivals in that land to a different connected land. So we're going to exhaust these, move 1 to 3, we said, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to move 1 of them.
Okay.
Let's move 2 of them. 2 of them are going to get exhausted. They're going to go into Knossos over here. Then we're basically going to displace these 2 to a different land, and they're going to
Okay.
go here, and they'll be exhausted.
Ah, okay.
There we are. There's a different way to kind of move them around, I guess.
Yeah, you had to spend your sacrifice
I
token to do
did,
so.
yeah.
They're a tiebreaker at the end of the game. So if this ends in a tie somehow, then we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. And for my last action, I'm going to travel.
Okay.
So Colchis, but I'm going to use yellow
Okay.
to exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. I'm just going to move them here.
Oh, got a lot of.
So now there are 5, right?
Yeah, presence is
1,
1,
2.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's not
That is
good.
it for me. So it goes to you for your final action. And it's interesting because the temples make it so that things are protected.
Yeah.
Right? Like even if you remove the yellow factions,
It's not that.
it's just
significant.
here
Yeah.
or here, but these ones are already exhausted. If you remove any of the ones here, the temples are there.
They're
They're
already
planted there forever. There's
holding it
nothing
down.
in this game that allows you to remove a temple that's been built.
Mm-hmm.
They are forever.
Okay, so I will just play a green Thebes card for duel, and that's exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival. I'm just gonna say here, it's just gonna be a 1 and 1.
Oh,
Just to
interesting.
chip away a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there really wasn't anywhere else to do it, right? Like,
Okay.
like nothing here. Here
Okay.
they're exhausted.
They're exhausted. Like you
Exhausted.
could chip away at green
you
if
could
you
chip
think
away
I
at
have a
green over there.
green gut.
I
You know
don't
what I
think.
mean?
I feel like you don't have
Because
green.
we do still have these secret
Secret.
favors, and that is 1 stock in something. Somebody could have green.
You could have green.
So, anywho, that's your final answer.
That's it. Yep.
All right, so go ahead and draw a card. That is the end of the round. So let's just go straight into. We're still going because 5 rounds max, but also none of the factions
It's getting
have
close, though.
maxed out. If we build
Yeah.
the last yellow temple, that ends the game, or if we build out in these 3, which that's definitely going to get built. We know Naveen's going to build there. So that means you're not going to sell yet.
Yeah, maybe not.
Interesting. So you're going to sell blue? I guess that makes sense. Okay, let's stand up all these
Yes.
tokens.
Sorry.
And then I went first, right? So you're
Yeah,
going to
you-
go
mhm.
first in the next round. And oops. And then we're going to go into round 4. So this is the penultimate round.
It is. Yes.
So no matter what, no matter if we don't hit these immediate game ending effects. So go ahead and advance the token, please.
Yes. Thank you.
And now starting with you, Naveen, what are you going to abandon?
Abandon. I'll abandon blue. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew you were going to advance.
This is
So
1, 2, 3, 4.
So 4 divinities. You go up to 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think it might be time. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm at 4. Let's abandon yellow.
All right.
Right?
Time to abandon.
Time to abandon yellow. So I go up 20.
Yeah.
So 27.
Yeah, that's good.
Amazing. Okay, so this means I go. Oh my god! I did not calculate this part. What do I want to go up in? It has to be green or blue. Green or blue. Ugh. Green is really expensive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be ridiculous. I cannot do a big favor in red. It has to be a small favor. So let's just do that now.
Okay.
Because I can't share the same spot as you.
Yep.
So 3. It cost me 3. 1, 2, 3. And then a big favor in blue, I guess. It's cheaper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it. So 4. So 8. Right? So 16?
16, yep.
Okay. What about yourself?
So I think I'm going to go small favor red.
Okay. So that is 3.
3.
1, 2, 3. And then yellow, green.
Well, yellow is kind of secure. All right, I'll go yellow. Yeah.
You'll do small and yellow?
It's going to be a big in yellow.
Oh, okay. You did small here. So, you're going to spend 10?
I think, right? Because these are already locked in.
Yeah, it is. It
1,
is
2,
very
3.
secure. It's true.
Yeah.
So you just have to make sure that you increase that value somehow. So you're going to do it?
I'll do it. Let's just see.
You can do as 2 smalls if you want to.
Now let's just see.
Do
I'm
it
gonna
big?
go for it,
Okay.
yeah.
So you go down to 1.
That's okay.
Wow. Big risk. Hopefully big reward. Naveen.
We'll see. I have no idea.
Make it work. All right. So this time it is starting with Naveen.
Okay.
Action phase. Let me go ahead and flip these
Oh, yeah.
because they are no longer abandoned.
Well, we are going to build in Sparta.
Yeah.
Exhaust 3 followers. If there's no temple, create a temple. You and gods above you.
So just you.
Gain me.
You gain
Yeah,
3 divinity.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Temple.
Because Naveen is higher than me. There you go.
Temple.
All right. That's that. So now you draw a card. Goes to me. All right. I'm going to worship. And I'm going to do it with the blue temple over there.
Blue. Okay.
Yeah. So can you exhaust that temple? I
Okay.
collect sacrifice tokens based on favor. So I get 3.
Okay.
And then you get to do this. You must create 1 exhausted blue follower in a land with 1 or more rivals. And I gain
Somewhere where they
3
already are.
tokens.
Let's put them well. Let's put them here.
There?
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's me. Back to you.
Okay, I am going to spend my last token to sack. And it's going to be in a yellow area. So sack is exhaust a temple. If there are no followers, create 3 rivals. So I'm going to do
you're
that
doing it
there.
here?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Can I have 3 red rivals, please?
3 red. 1, 2, 3.
So now we're spreading out.
That's still good for me. Here.
It is, yeah.
So are they? No, they create.
they're
created,
creating,
right? Oh, okay. Ah, interesting. So now you're at 4. Okay. Did you draw a card?
No, not yet. Sorry.
Okay. So then it goes back to me, and I'm going to charm. So this is going to cost me 1 sacrifice token, and I'm going to do it in Pylos.
Okay.
So exhaust 1 follower. So I'm going to choose blue, and exhaust 1 to 2 rivals and replace them with followers. So I'm going to replace that green with blue.
Okay.
Just in case, okay? Just in case Naveen secretly has green. Because he could just be like waiting in the background. Like
I'll let you do all that work.
built up all green early and then just kind of abandoned it.
I did abandon
And
them a while
having a
back.
secret one, I would be pretty heartbroken if I found out he had green. So, all right. So that's it for me. That was the charm action. All right, back to you. We're gonna have to reshuffle this deck soon.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and duel in a blue area.
Okay.
So it's just going to be exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival.
Where to?
Just going to do it right here.
Oh.
1 and 1.
Oh.
So we took blue off the
Oh,
board
you're
a little
removing
bit.
blue. You're removing blue presents.
A little blue
Naveen.
presence got removed.
Wow.
Because you're the only one invested in blue right there.
All right, well, I'm going to abduct, which is one of my unique powers in Knossos.
Okay.
So I exhaust and move 1 follower and 1 rival to any land.
Okay.
So I'm just going to choose blue
Okay.
because it doesn't really matter. There's only 2 in here. So one follower and 1 rival to any land. So they're moving into Lycia over here because it still gains me that extra spot for blue,
Yeah, it
extra
does.
location. And there's now 3 of these
red ones?
Minoans in here. And so if in the next round a temple gets built in both of these, then that immediately ends
That
the
would
game.
end it, yeah.
So it kind of makes the timing as to when
Yeah.
that happens very important
does.
because that sort of just stops your manipulation of the
Yes.
strength, right?
Okay.
So that was abduct.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to pay a sacrifice token to do that. Okay, that's me. back to you, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this while you take your
Sure.
last action.
Last one here. Okay, I have to recruit, so I'm just going to play a green card.
Okay.
Exhaust a temple, create 3 followers, gain 1 divinity. So we're just going to do this one.
Okay.
3 followers.
So 3 followers.
And then I'll gain my 1
And you
divinity.
gain one divinity here. Do you mind putting
Yep.
standing these up?
Sure.
So here's a deck. That was your action. So my options are I can either recruit also or do my siren song, but I would have to spend both of my sacrifice tokens. I don't like that. I don't think it's worth it right now. So you can go ahead and draw.
Okay.
I'm going to recruit as well. What is still available? Yellow,
Yellow, yeah, red.
or red? You do have green, don't you?
No?
You're recruiting green. Okay. Let's just go yellow. I'm going to recruit. I'm going to recruit here in Athens. So I did that just for the divinity. And then 1, 2, 3. All right. That is it. So let me just go ahead and draw my final card.
Okay. Clear
But
out.
that is the end of the round. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and go straight into the final round. Now we discarded those. Let's stand these up. Even though we're going into the final round doesn't mean we're going to play it out,
Right.
because it's very likely. I mean, the temple situation is that the only faction that could end the game with their own temples is yellow. And right now there is no place for them to build their final one. So if we were to end early, it would be if we both build temples in the both of those, which makes the divinity phase kind of interesting.
It does, yeah.
So go ahead and pass the torch. I'm
Yep.
going to go first.
Okay.
And we are all set up. So starting with me, I have to decide if I would like to abandon either blue or red.
Blue or red?
Blue or red, but what would I do? You are going to be forced to abandon red. That's what's interesting. And if I get the first turn, so if I build a temple here, then I would gain the 3 points and you wouldn't benefit from that.
No?
You know? No, I will abandon red, because since you're going to be forced to abandon, if I abandon red also, I would still get the 3 points and you wouldn't. You know what I mean? If that's the only deciding factor,
Okay.
then I might as well
Oh,
abandon
I
red.
see.
So I have 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So 12. So 12 plus 17, what's that, 29?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you are forced to abandon red. Now, again, the reason why is because Naveen has hit the 5
Right.
favor here. There's a little mark there that means you are forced to do it
5
in the
times
round
4, 20.
after. So that's 20?
Yep.
So you go to 25? Okay. So divinity favor step. Did yellow go down at all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
No, yellow's the same.
Are you going to increase yellow? That's the question. I'm going to grant a small favor in yellow.
Okay.
So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I spend 5. Because it's the least fragile. You know? There's at
A
least
lot of
2
presence, yeah.
in each location. And
Yep.
Naveen has an invested, Naveen's invested.
There you go.
He wants to increase this. And if I don't increase value at all, then I'll just break even. So do I want to go up twice in blue? It's scary because there's 1 there.
Easily plucked.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it.
Okay. So just
That
1.
might be a mistake.
No problem.
The rules say you should always try to do
They try to give you that
both.
tip in the rule book. Yeah.
Yes. It's like, please, you may want to consider doing both every single time. I'm not doing that
is not
this
the
time.
time.
So
Okay.
this might be the mistake for me.
Okay.
So what would you like to do, Naveen?
So I can't do red, and I'm already in yellow. Let's do a small on green.
Okay.
Yeah, just a small on green.
So small green.
Yeah.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Yep.
Okay. So you go to 21.
1.
And then big on yellow?
Not big. I think I
Just
might
one
go small. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 1,
Another
2,
4.
3, 4, 5.
5.
So you go to 16.
16. Yeah.
All right. That's that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So then it goes to me for the final actions phase. Naveen, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
Are we going to end this game early? Let's see. All right, I'm going to start by playing my siren song. I don't think I've done this all game. So it's going to cost 2 sacrifice tokens. I'm playing the yellow Athens card, and it says exhaust 1 follower. Exhaust and move 1 to 2 rivals from a connected land to this land. So I'm just going to exhaust and move 1.
Okay.
There.
A little spread.
Yeah, 1 blue. All right. That's me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to play a green card for worship. So I'm going to exhaust a temple and collect a sacrifice token based off the favor. So I'm just going to exhaust this temple right here.
Okay.
So I'm going to get 3 of those tokens, please.
Oh, yes, 3.
Yeah, again, what you see printed on the board is not the current rules for this prototype. Okay, perfect.
Are you going to do your ability?
Yes, I do. I am going to definitely do that. So I'm going to remove this blue one over here.
Ah, fascinating.
In our rival land, yes.
And now I wish I had sacrifice tokens. That's why I didn't use this.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's a shame. All right, well, I'm going to duel then, and I'm going to play a green card to do it in Mycenae here. I'm going to exhaust and remove one follower and one rival.
Okay.
That's that. Okay, back to you.
Okay, I am going to play this card for sack, which is going to cost me one of my tokens. And sacking is exhaust a temple. If there are no followers, create 3 rivals. So I'm going to do it here. So then we're going to, there's no followers because it's red.
Right.
So I'm going to create 3 rivals, and I'm going to create them to be yellow.
Yellow? Oh, okay. So these are there's only one left.
There's only one left yellow.
So after that, so nobody can do
all the things.
The recruit.
Yeah.
For yellow.
For yellow.
Okay. So draw card. So now it goes back to me. And I guess I'll travel. Oh, this is so painful. I'm not drawing the cards that I need.
Okay.
Truly, if you're looking at the board and thinking, why isn't she doing X? It's because I don't have the card.
Okay.
I don't have the card for it. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to travel in Knossos.
Okay.
And I'll just move. So I'm going to choose blue as a follower. Exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers to a connected land. So I'll just move.
Oh, there you go.
There.
Spread out a little bit.
All right. All right, back to you.
So the last thing you have is build and worship, huh?
Yeah. But it really depends on what cards I have in my hand.
Yes. Okay, I'll spend a Knossos card here. It's dual. Exhaust and remove 1 follower and 1 rival.
I knew you were going to do that.
There they go.
So it was going to happen,
Had to be done.
but I didn't really have a card to do anything else other than give you an extra point in yellow. So it doesn't matter. At the very end here, I finally drew the card that I needed. I couldn't draw blue for the life of me.
Blue.
And I still didn't draw blue, but at least I drew Pylos, which is what I needed to build. That.
Okay.
I need to build a temple here because it scores you 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points.
So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Because Naveen is not above me in blue. So that's it. That was my final action. We took it to the end of round 5.
We did. For my very last action of the game, I am going to play this red Knossos card for invade.
Okay.
This is that one where I have to spend 2 of these tokens.
Okay.
Exhaust and move 1 to 3 followers. So it's going to be red. I'm going to do Sparta. I'm going to do 2 followers. They're going to move into Knossos. And then to a connected land and as many rivals. So yellow are the rivals here.
So exhaust those and move them?
Yep, to a different connected land. So they are going to actually... Well, you know what? Let me do 1.
What are you doing? Oh, okay.
1, so I can maintain possession here. Then I'm going to do 1. Goes here to a different connected land.
Okay.
There we go. So
you
spread
just
them out.
increase the value of yellow. Okay. That's that.
That's it.
That is it.
All right.
That is the end.
Yeah.
That is the end of round 5. We took it to the very end here. So now all we have to do is go into final scoring. And the first thing that happens is we are going to reveal our secret favor cards because we'll get a favor each. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Oh, we both have blue.
It was blue and green. Yeah.
Okay. So blue and blue. And you have green. And I have yellow.
Yeah, you had yellow.
Oh, sorry, it's me.
Yeah,
so
you had
you
yellow.
increased the value for me.
I know.
When you were doing that, I was like, yes, do it. Go for it.
It's unfortunate because I invested in it and I was like,
Yeah.
well, now I got to play this game for it. So
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling you had yellow because that was the first thing you like really committed to.
Yeah. You had green. You did.
I did have green, yeah.
I'm glad I started plucking you off. Okay. Did that feel horrible when I was doing that at the end there?
I mean, it's fine.
Just a guess.
It's okay.
All right, let's go ahead and cash out. So starting with blue all the way down to yellow. So blue's strength at the end here is
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times 1 for Naveen is 4, so you go to 20. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I go to 39.
Yep.
Okay, so you're supposed to just leave these here
That's
so that we can do final accounting later. Nobody did anything with red.
No.
So move along. Green, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 3 times 2.
Times 2 is 6.
Yep.
So you go up to 26.
6.
And then yellow was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, yeah.
Wow,
7 times
amazing.
3.
21.
21 for me.
So 47.
Yeah, 47. I think you're good.
47. And then 7
Yeah,
times 2 is 14.
Yeah.
So what is that? 13? 53?
Yeah, 53.
Oh, it's so close.
Ah,
That's it.
there it is.
Final scores are me with 53 to Naveen with 47. Ah, that was really close.
It was really close. It felt bad like having the blue in my pocket.
Yeah.
But, like I had no investment in blue. So it's like, am I really gonna like protect your blue that you have 2 shares, 2, potentially 3 shares in
Yeah.
for me to get a 1x return on your 2 to 3x return?
It really came down to the
didn't wanna do
secret favorite cards, right?
Yeah.
Because not knowing, but also kind of speculating.
I
what they
speculated
were.
that you had the yellow. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, I was
like,
going
how
really
do
hard
I-
yellow the entire game.
Yeah.
I was like, no secrets. I
know,
have yellow.
I
Let's
know.
just go with
We
yellow.
built 3 like temples to,
Yeah.
to like be like we are gonna be secure here.
I wanted to build a 4th.
I know.
Like truly, I wanted this to be the 4th temple, but I couldn't figure out a way because when you in order to build temples, it's sort of a slow crawl.
Yeah.
You have to move the mortals into position, which takes a round because they become exhausted, and then the next round you can do it. But hopefully they still stay there, right? You need 3 of them
And you
in
need the
order
card
build
to
a
actually
temple.
like say like I already have that city or that color. If
Yeah.
you don't have it, then it's like, well, even though I might have first dibs.
It's harder than you think
Yeah.
to have the exact card that you need. So my original plan was to try to end the game earlier. I wanted to end the game actually in round 4 to just be able to end it and then kind of because yellow was strong already. I didn't know that yellow was going to get stronger, but
Yeah.
yellow was strong already. So I kind of wanted to end it and just kind of score there. But it just didn't work out that way. But it still worked out in the end.
Yeah, good. I do regret not going big on yellow to get a second share.
Like, in the last.
In the last I
round?
went small.
Oh,
So
okay.
had I got a 1 extra share, it would have cost me an extra 5.
Yeah.
But then I would have netted an extra 4. No, I was still lost. I would have lost by 2 instead of lost by 6.
Yeah, I struggled doing the math a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially in the earlier rounds because they all start at even.
3. Yeah.
So you have to start doing something. You know what I mean? And then you have to start manipulating something with your god. So like that's a big part of it. And then you have to sort of calculate what is worth it, but you can only ever be invested in 2 factions. So it's tough. It's not easy to sort of decide what to abandon and what to invest in.
And at what point, yeah.
So, anywho, that
you
is
go. Yeah,
Gods and
that's it.
Mortals
Yeah.
at 2. Again, the game plays up to 4 players, and at higher player counts, you will have more hands and manipulating because nothing changes for a 2-player game. It's the same amount of factions, the same amount of starting pieces on the board. Literally nothing changes.
Yeah,
so
there might be some shared interests though. Like if my secret faction's blue, yours is
Yes.
blue, but 2 other people are on red.
right.
There might be some reason why you and I are trying to gravitate towards something.
Yes,
versus the
exactly.
others,
There's more shared incentives, right? And also you'll see more use of the asymmetric god powers. There are more of them that come in the game. There's like Zeus. Whenever you or another god sacrifices a card, you collect a sacrifice token.
There you go.
There's Artemis. If your card matches both the land and the faction, use that power without spending sacrifice tokens. So there's a few of them that come in the game. There's also a recommended starting selection of them. These 2 are recommended for your starting god powers if you choose to use them. And I believe there may also be an expansion in the works, but just check out the campaign for more details in terms of that.
Well, there you have it. That is Gods and Mortals. Now, if you have any questions about the gameplay you saw here, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you are interested in a campaign, there's a link in the description, which you can check out at your leisure. And lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.